Authors J.R. Ward and Jessica Andersen met several years ago at a romance writers conference and became fast friends. The two are now best buddies and serve as each other's first reader. The duo took time out from their busy RWA schedules to let us in on what's next for their popular series.
We are the original Mutt and Jeff. I mean, we really are. I mean, we are as opposite as two people can be. I mean, it's like, you know, like the marriage of like total doesn't make any sense and completely works. I work a lot from character. She works a lot from plot. Yep. And I'm very into the emotion stuff, and that makes her scratch. Well, but I mean, there still is a lot of emotion in your book, though. But I mean, it's just our approaches are very different.
Very different. Very different gestalt the whole way through.
Absolutely.
You know?
But I think we complement it, and there's a huge amount of respect, I think, on both sides. Even though, again, I am the sort of bubbled blonde who kind of gets into trouble, and she's the smart, sensible one who is, you know, always right.
And you write phenomenal heroes, and I write tough heroines. So it's
right.
so fun to swap material, and we have perspectives on each other's stuff, and it's okay if we ignore
each other.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
You know? So I started off in academic science. I've got a PhD in genetics, and I was working in a lab. I had actually got bored in the lab. I studied for and passed the patent bar exam, so I was going to go be a patent lawyer. And got bored with that, and so just started writing a novel that had been, you know, these little voices inside my head. And so the more I wrote, and I was writing and writing and writing, I started writing at the lab, started writing at odd hours and stuff like that, which a lot of us tend to do. And just got more and more into this writing. And so when I turned in my thesis advisor actually said that it read like a mystery novel, because I was searching for genes for glaucoma, and it was, you know, the next chapter, will she find the genes, you know, stuff like that.
And then he showed up and he was wearing leather pants. No, exactly. That's my book.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
There we go. And so yeah, so it was really realizing that was far more interesting to me than the lab stuff.
The whole thing is that I was a corporate lawyer working in healthcare administration for many, many years, and like her, I just started writing on the side, and I find that writing is a full-time job. It is a dream. It's wonderful. I am the luckiest person on the planet to get to do this for a living. However, I get up every single morning, and I go to work 7 days a week, and I don't take vacations, and I work at late into the evenings, and when I'm on deadline, everything stops. And so the hours of corporate law, you know, or working in corporate America are very much with me. I don't do a lot of research because a lot of the world just presents itself in my head as is. But that discipline, that focus, that unwavering commitment to daily just making sure you get as much as you can right, that's what comes from my corporate background.
The Skykeepers.
Great book. Great book.
Thank you.
I think it really is one of the best things that you've written.
It was
absolutely.
It was a hard book, and I think it, you know, benefited from, you know,
the process of,
you know,
because
it was really, you know, Michael is a very dark character even for me.
He's great.
You know, and
He's great.
So for me, that got very dark, but in a good way, in a sort of in a positive way, moving everybody forward. You know, great romance, him and Sasha. Really just enjoyed experiencing that with them. And there's one character in there, without spoiling it, there's one character in there who goes through some really tough stuff and ends up in a bad place and actually becomes the hero of the following book. And I'm not going to name him because that's kind of a spoiler for book 3. But so keep an eye out for who book 4 is about, because that gets pretty fun, I think.
The new series is really, I was fascinated by the idea of demons scare me. I've never been a big demon fan. I've never been a huge fan of The Exorcist. I don't like the idea that something can come in and park itself inside your skin and make you do stuff you don't want to do. But it was so creepy and disturbing, the idea that human souls and human lives could become corrupted from the inside out. And that demons were, yes, they're scary and the boogeyman and everything, but they're kind of like parasites for life. And that when they come in and they enter a person's life or world or thought processes, that they can actually steer an entire life into sin. And the idea of what it takes to stop that process and change the trajectory of a life, what that requires, what the kind of people are needed to do that and re-influence things, and the battle, the conflict between good and evil, I thought that was really cool. I like creepy, freaky stuff. I just do. And I think what I love about vampires is they're creepy freaky. And the great thing about, the great thing for me about demons and angels is they're kind of creepy freaky. And so it's sort of that sort of the brotherhood, darkness, and the battles between good and evil, and the universal themes are very much in the New Angels series as well. But it's a different cast of characters, different mythology, and so I really hope people love it. And there's always a solid love story in each book that grounds and gives weight to everything. And there's also a continuing storyline.